This video is sponsored by Squarespace. We finally moved out to the country, and this week I've had the chance to set up what I think is going to be my dream miniature painting setup. So today, I'd like to take you through the process of designing this space from start to finish, why I've set it up the way I have, as well as discussing some future plans that I have for the space. Early on, when looking at this rental, we decided that the master bedroom would be my main workspace. The room where I would write, film, and edit these videos, as well as do the majority of my miniature painting. And this room was really perfect for this purpose. It's a massive rectangle with a window on one side, a generous amount of electrical outlets, an ensuite bathroom so that I'll always have a sink nearby, as well as a walk-in closet for storing all of my works in progress and unpainted plastic to help keep this studio a little bit more clean and clutter-free than the previous one. Within days of arriving here, my first priority was to set up a computer desk and a painting desk so that I could start working on the video that you're watching right now. For the computer desk, I decided to put it right in front of the window so that I could get the maximum amount of daylight in the mornings while I work on scripts and edit videos. And after this, I put the main painting desk at a right angle to the computer desk so that I could capture the widest variety of shots of me sitting at the desk. From overhead painting shots to face shots like the one you're looking at right now, as well as any number of wide shots that I might want of me painting. Coincidentally, this setup also gave me a nice little corner to set up my airbrush booth, close enough to the window to easily vent the air hose outside, while still being close enough to the main painting desk and being easy to film in and around. Speaking of this little side corner, because I had the extra space, I thought it made sense to put another desk over here next to the main painting desk, just because I had the extra space and it's always nice to have a second desk to work on 2 projects at a time or to store paints on. And with all of the main desks in place, I quickly got the computer station up and running, and after this, it was time for the fun part, setting up the painting desk. The painting desk will be a lot like my old one at the previous place, but it does have a few little upgrades thanks to Redgrass Games, who kindly sent me over one of their new painting lamps for review purposes. It's totally eliminated the need for me to have the 2 desktop lamps that I usually use to capture my painting footage. The quality of the light seems good, it's aesthetically pleasing, and I'm quite enjoying this lamp so far. They also sent me over a few other nice upgrades, such as a new painting mat, their newest, largest wet palette, and a fresh painting handle. I set up the fresh painting mat and brand new wet palette so that I could start painting anytime I like, whenever I want a break from moving furniture around and unpacking boxes. I've been using Redgrass wet palettes for years now, and this one seems to be the newest iteration of that line, so it works pretty much the same as the others. It's a wet palette, but it's just a lot bigger and fancier, and I think it will have a nice permanent home on this desk. The painting handle, again, is the same one that I've been using for years now, but it's always nice to have a fresh, clean one for the new studio. So huge thanks to Redgrass Games for sending me all of this nice new stuff to get started in my new studio. But if you're wondering, Redgrass is not the sponsor of today's video. That honor goes to another company who I wouldn't have been able to make this move without their financial support, Squarespace. Squarespace is the all-in-one website and hosting platform that I've been using for a bit over a decade now for all of my website needs. You just pick a template that looks good to you, add in any extra pages or features you might like, and then customize things to your heart's content using their incredibly intuitive drag and drop grid system. No coding or technical knowledge required. I've been using my current Squarespace website for a little bit over a year now to house my gallery of painted miniatures, all of my painting reference documents, as well as pages of links to products that I use in my studio, like this one where I list out everything I'm using to build this new painting setup. So if you'd like to build a website, why not check out squarespace.com today for a free trial. And when you're ready to launch, go to squarespace.com/DanaHowl for 10% off your very first purchase of a website or domain. And with all of these things set up, I started rummaging through all my boxes to find my most essential paints, as well as some work in progress miniatures, so that at the very least I could start doing my daily painting practice again. I also set up my Manfrotto filming arms so that I could start filming my painting if I wanted to. And for those of you following along with my Star Wars Shatterpoint painting progress, you will also notice I did not finish painting all the figures before the next wave released. The process of moving and doing my taxes in 1 month just took up way more of my time than I thought it would, but I do think I made a good amount of progress on these figures, and I'll be continuing to paint them and giving you updates on my painting progress as I work on them. With all of the essentials set up, it was time to fill the rest of the room with stuff, so I decided to put another line of cabinets along the back of the room to use for more storage. I then started organizing all of my supplies, starting with the paints I use most frequently and the paints I want to make reviews for in the future. If you were wondering, these nail polish racks are still my go-to method for organizing paints. They are relatively cheap and nice looking, and I just really like how they let me see all of my paints at once and their relationship to similar paints beside them. I also like how I can just pick up the entire rack and bring it over to my desk when I need it. After some thought, I decided to put the paint racks directly behind me instead of to my left, as I think they look cool as a background element in the talking head shots, and it actually brings them closer to me while I'm painting. But also, I think they'll look even cooler with some LEDs behind them. Did I mention I bought some LEDs? Because I definitely bought a lot of LEDs. One of my biggest regrets from the previous studio is that I never took the time to light it properly. With this place, I wanted to correct that mistake and implement all the lighting I could ever want right from the beginning, to give this studio all the neon charm of that first studio I had right at the beginning of the channel. And luckily, it was Amazon Prime Day right around the time when I was moving, so I bought a whole bunch of LEDs on sale for a really good price. My typical go-to brand for this has been Philips Hue, but for this I wanted to save a little bit of money, so I decided to try out another brand that's a little bit cheaper and I've heard good things about, Govee. I bought 2 of these sets for about $25 each on sale, and I spent quite a lot of time sticking them to the back of all of my furniture to help the big blank walls look a little bit more interesting. I also bought a few plants around this time as well to give the room a little bit more life. This room has a lot more daylight than any of my previous rooms, so I hope to add even more plants in the future. For the LEDs, they ended up being quite easy to string up, but also quite time intensive. And I spent about 2 full days stringing these up behind all of my desks and cabinets. However, despite how long this process took, I really feel that the end result was worth it. And I'm glad that I did this now because it's going to get a lot harder to move these pieces of furniture once they are covered in stuff. In fact, I liked how this looked so much that I decided to fully light my miniatures cabinet in the same way, as well as lighting all of the interiors of these cabinets where my finished painted miniatures are soon going to live. And conveniently, the whole thing can be controlled via an app on my phone. The only downside I will say for these specific LED lights is that I can't really seem to get a good daylight or warm light out of them, as these are more intended to be accent lights, so bear that in mind if you want to pick these up for yourself. Finally, there remained only one large task ahead of me, unpacking all of my stuff to fill these shelves and cabinets, and here is a montage of me doing just that. In conclusion, here is my final brand new miniature painting studio. There are still a few touches I'd like to add in the future. I might add some sort of backsplash to the wall behind the painting desk, and I definitely want to get more plants. I've also left a lot of open wall space in many areas of the room if I want to add more art or shelves for storage. But for now, I think this will be a pretty good base of operations for me to paint, film, edit, write, and do all of the other things I need to do in order to make more videos like this for the channel. I hope you got some useful tips out of this video that you can use in your own painting studio or hobby room. And if you're curious about any of the products used in this video, please feel free to check out the video description where I provided Amazon affiliate links to everything. Thank you as always to all of you lovely patrons for supporting me through this big move. It really means a lot to me and I couldn't have done this without you. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you to all of you for your support of the channel over the past few years that allowed me to get to this point, and I will see you in the next video.